Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm not outside Old Trafford. I'm in the studio, which means it's live. So get involved in the comments in the chat. We've got loads of United stories to talk about. We're going to be talking about Ivan Toney. That rumour seems to have popped up again. Manchester United being linked with the Brentford striker, as we have been sort of on and off for the past couple of years. Also, Noussair Mazraoui, we're going to be talking about him as well, potentially coming to Old Trafford. That's an interesting one, obviously. A Moroccan international and part of that team that did really well at the World Cup not so long ago. Sofiane Amrabat was also part of that team, of course. Plus, we're going to be talking about Fofana and Bruno and Ligt. So make sure you are getting involved in the chat and the comments and hitting that like button, please, people. Smash a like. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, then please do. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers, and with your support, we can get there. We've smashed through the 750,000 mark. Let's get to 800,000. Loads of people in the chat already. Richard Evans, O'Hanlon 86, Santa Notch is there. Good to see him. Jacoya Trot, Colin Couple-Ditch, Kevin Aitchison, Muhammad Ali, Green Banana. There you go. Rusty Pujo, he says, sell Scott or Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We'll get into that shortly. Also going to talk about Xavi Simons as well, I think. Right, what's first on the agenda, producer Ethan? There you go. Oh, no, we're not talking about Xavi Simons. We're talking about German forward Xavi Simons. Yes, yeah, we are. Oh, sorry. Forgive me. I'm getting confused. There you go. Paris Saint-Germain forward Xavi Simons. According to reports in Germany, United are eyeing a deal for him in the shape of 84 million quid. Right. Really? Can we just stop right there? Yeah. Is that going to happen? No. I'm going to stick my neck out, right? I'm not ITK. I don't have any contacts. I don't know anything other than what you guys know and what's in the papers. This is why we do the paper talk. We go through the papers, we go through the stories, we go through the reports, and we see what's happening. And according to reports in Germany, United are eyeing a deal in excess of 84 million quid for Paris Saint-Germain forward Xavi Simons. But we're not, though. That ain't going to happen, right? I'm going to stick my neck out and say we're not going to spend 84 million quid on Xavi Simons. The reason it threw me, right? Can I tell you why it threw me? And this is why I put even less weight behind this story. Look at the top line. Are United preparing an offer for Xavi Simons? Who? What? You've not even spelled his name right. So forgive me if I don't believe that you've got the story right when you can't even get the name right. And also, I don't see United going out and spending 84 million quid on any one player, especially when we've not even been paying that much for players. We've got a buyout clause. We staggered the payment for Joshua Zirkzee, didn't we? So, no, that ain't happening. It's a load of rubbish. I don't even need to know what reports in Germany are saying. I'm just not believing it. You may disagree. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Do you think we are going to spend 84 million quid on Xavi Simons, or do you think it isn't happening? I don't think it is. I might be wrong. You might be right. Let me know. People in the chat. Phil Berry says the MEN has gone SHITE. I'm not going to swear. It's early morning. Oh, it's not early morning. It's morning, isn't it? Colin Couple-Ditch says, I can't see it happening. Destino Portugal says, more chance of you growing a fringe, Jay. Do you know what? That's hurtful, but it's kind of accurate because I can't really grow a fringe. So, you're not wrong. Santa Notch makes a great point. To be fair, Xavi is an extremely long, complicated name to spell right. It is. There's 4 letters in it. So, I mean, they got 3 of them. They got three of the 4 letters, and those 3 letters they had were in the right order. It's just they missed out the V, which, you know, it was, what's that? It was 66% right, is that? Or 75% right, sorry. It was 75% right, so they didn't do too badly. Big up Jay, says Stephanie Griffith. Thank you, Stephanie. Joe's mustache, says Zai. Lol. Muhammad Ali says, Jay just not having no nonsense today. I just feel like you guys aren't stupid, are you? Like, you watch the channel, you tune in with the news, you know what's going on with Manchester United, you know what Ineos are doing, you know about the budget, you know how much money we've got, you know we're having to sell players to buy players, you know about the standards at the club, you know about Xavi Simons, you know what type of player he is. Do you see Manchester United spending 84 million quid for him? No, and neither do I. And also, when you see a story and you spell his name wrong, do you believe that story? Do you think they're accurate? You can't even get his name right, but you tuned in on what's happening with his future. No, don't believe it for a minute. Let's talk about Ivan Toney. This is another one that's a bit doubtful in it, if we're being brutally honest. This is in the Manchester Evening News again. This is come via The Athletic. I'm going to go into this a little bit because it says Ivan Toney update. Manchester United have discussed Ivan Toney internally as Brentford are set to lower their asking price to 50 million, according to The Athletic. Now, it feels like this is the same story being sort of regurgitated and twisted and sort of made to look a little bit different. But one thing I will say about this, because whilst I don't have much confidence that United will go for Ivan Toney, I'm a little bit sceptical of that one because we've already got Joshua Zirkzee, we've got Rasmus Højlund, Marcus Rashford can play down the middle. I know it's not ideal. You can even go without an out-and-out striker and play a false nine, as we did with Bruno Fernandes in the FA Cup final. So do I see United going out for Ivan Toney? Not really. However, the only reason I would put a little bit of interest in this and put it certainly above the Xavi Simons story in terms of likelihood is that Ivan Toney's obviously hankering for a move from Brentford. He couldn't have made that any more clear if he'd just gone on strike. I mean, it's just, he's given interview after interview where he said he wants to go. The club seem pretty resigned to losing him. However, they want a bit of money for him, as you'd expect. He's an England international. He's their prized asset. He scores a lot of goals. I know he fell off a bit of a cliff, didn't he, form-wise towards the end of last season. I think he was at 12 games without a goal. But he has bagged 20 goals in a season in the Premier League, which is not easy. Very good at set pieces, of course, especially his no-look penalty. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were clubs that came in for Ivan Toney. However, it's dragging on a little bit. I know, obviously, we've still got quite a way to go before the transfer window ends, but it went from like, oh, he's going to go to Arsenal for 80-90 million to, is he going to go anywhere? And now it's 50 million. And I think the longer it goes on, the more likely it is that he might end up going for less than 50 million. Where Brentford go, okay, we need to get something for him. He obviously doesn't want to be here. We need some money for him. Maybe you can get away with putting in a cheeky £40 million bid. And you could get him for that. That's why the only reason I think that maybe it's not completely out of the question that United might go in for him eventually if the bid was to come down or the price was to come down to a fee that you think it might be worth it at that price. I still remain sceptical because we've got other options. I don't know if Ivan Toney will be top of the list when we've just bought Joshua Zirkzee, but he's a different type of player. He's more... I know Ivan Toney is a modern striker in the sense that he can sort of drift out wide, he can drop deep, but he can also sort of lead the line a little bit more than perhaps Joshua Zirkzee would. Even Rasmus Højlund at times likes to drift out wide almost constantly. And if you were to sort of get Ivan Toney in as a different type of striker, then he does offer you a little bit something that Zirkzee and Højlund don't. It's just, can you have three strikers? It might even work if there was rumblings, weren't there, that Erik Ten Hag could consider having two up top. If you had two up top, I could see you going for Ivan Toney. Because you'd want more than you need at least three options, wouldn't you? If you're going to have two up top, you can't have two up top and only have two strikers. I know you can play Marcus down the middle, but he's not really a striker, is he? So maybe there is something in that if the price was to get lowered. But I'm still sceptical. Let me know what you think. Do you think there's ever going to be a scenario where Ivan Toney comes to Manchester United, or do you just think it ain't happening? Adam says he'll go for free next year, laughing. Mighty Muppet says 2002 R9 hairstyle would look good on you, Jay. The 2002 R9 hairstyle didn't look good on anyone, including R9. Toney is also Premier League proven and tested, says Football Philosophy. Harry says Toney bags goals, he's cool and we need depth. Playing Thursday and Sundays are going to be tough all season. So there's a couple of people here who aren't completely against it. John Adair says if Chelsea buy Watkins, he will go to Villa, potentially. Dan London says I'd love it, but can't see it happening. So everyone's sort of not on the fence, but saying it would be great if it happens, but it probably won't. And I think that's a fair assessment. I don't think it will happen. I just think it's not beyond the realms of possibility. If it was to drag on and you were to get towards the end of the transfer window and Brentford were like, look, we need to get rid of him. He doesn't want to be here. We want some money for him. They might even have another target lined up where they go, look, if we can get 40 million for Ivan Toney, we can go out and buy someone else who's a bit younger. Potentially, it could happen. Let's move on. Let's talk about this kid, Noussair Mazraoui. Now, This is from Florian Plettenberg, who's been on the channel. He is quite reliable, and he says here that Manchester United and West Ham are exploring a deal to sign Noussair Mazraoui. First concrete talks took place. Mazraoui is top of the list for both clubs and is keen to play Premier League. The 26-year-old right-back can leave Bayern now. Originally, they demanded €30 million. However, the market does not support this amount. Now, Bayern pushing to get 20 to 25 million euros. Most realistic price, 15 to 20 million all in. Contract valid until 2026. So it looks like Bayern Munich are up for selling him. And it looks like Manchester United are interested, along with West Ham. I don't know how this would work with the Ligt situation as well. I mean, are we going to buy 2 players here? Is that an option? From Bayern Munich, sorry. Would that happen? Can you see that happening? I mean, if it's 2 players there willing to sell, then yeah, of course that can happen. But I'm not sure about that. I think we've got another tweet as well here. Here you go. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, a key for a possible deal with Mazraoui for Manchester United and West Ham. United seriously considering to replace Wan-Bissaka with Mazraoui. Therefore, they have lowered their demand for Aaron Wan-Bissaka and demand 10 million now. West Ham pushing or considering to push for Wan-Bissaka if a transfer with Mazraoui should not work out. So there's some sort of shenanigans going on here where they can go, okay, look, if we sell Wan-Bissaka to you for 10 million, then you don't need Mazraoui anymore and we can get him. If the United look at that as an improvement. I like Aaron Wan-Bissaka and I don't want to see him leave. I've made that clear. I think he's a good option at right back. I think he's a different option at right back. He offers you something a little bit different than what Diogo Dalot. And I think as a specialist defensive right back, which sounds crazy, doesn't it? Defensive right back. When I was a kid, right back was a defensive right back. All right backs were, but now it's different, isn't it? Most right backs are sort of basically wing backs. I think he's amazing. So I want to keep him. However, I don't make the decisions at Manchester United Football Club, and it seems the powers that do are saying they want to get Wan-Bissaka gone and get Mazraoui in. Let me know what you think. Are you keen on this deal? Do you think this improves the team? Does it improve the squad? Does this give us, a sort of step in the right direction? Also, you have to consider the fact that Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think, has a year left on his deal. Maybe he doesn't want to stay at Manchester United. I mean, there's no indication he wants to leave, but maybe the club have spoken to him and he's not willing to sign a new deal. I don't know. Richard Porter says Aaron Wan-Bissaka can pocket most wingers. He can. He really can. Suj Kernan says, how does getting rid of Aaron Wan-Bissaka make any sense? Our left back position was the issue last season. I could not agree more. Honestly. Ellen says Aaron Wan-Bissaka wants to leave. Okay, fair enough. If that is the case, then what can you do? Sean Madison says Bissaka can't cross FFS. His crossing is not great. I'm not going to pretend it is. But I don't think he's as bad going forward as some people have made out. Some people made out like he's a complete and utter disaster in the business end of the pitch, and he isn't. He's just not as good as Diogo Dalot. He's probably not great going forward, but he's all right. We've seen him doing a decent job going forward. He's okay going forward. Defensively, he's unreal. But we'll wait and see. It looks like he could be heading out the exit door. Let's move on. Hit that like button as well, please, people. Man United could hijack deal. It says here, French journalist Fabrice Hawkins claim United are looking at a move for Monaco midfielder Youssouf Fofana, a potential backup to Manuel Ugarte. However, Fofana is said to have already agreed personal terms on a 4-year contract with AC Milan. Fofana joins Real Sociedad. Dadid? Who's writing articles for MEN today? Jesus wept. Real Sociedad, Martin Zubamendi is another player that United could be keen on. Should a move for Ugarte not materialise? I had this the other day about Martin Zubamendi, that he could be a potential alternative to Manuel Ugarte. Now you've got the kid Fofana being looked at as well. Doesn't seem like there's much happening here if he's already agreed to deal with AC Milan. Obviously, he's not signed for them, so you can never say never. But for me, I feel like the Ugarte deal can happen. What do you think? Let me know. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Do you want it to happen? There's a good question. Do you want Manuel Ugarte? I feel like everyone's sort of on the Ugarte bus. Everyone's like, yeah, let's get him in. He'll be great. And I've seen the stats, spoken about him. He looks like a really good player. Looks like the type of player we need. He looks like he's slotting into that midfield well with the likes of Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes. He's more defensively minded. That allows Kobbie Mainoo to be more box-to-box and Bruno Fernandes to be more attacking. Everyone's happy. However, if we can't afford him or we can't get a deal done, then we're looking at other players. Zubimendi is a bit more creative, I think, Zubimendi. I don't know a lot about the lad Youssouf Fofana, but he's obviously an option as a backup to Manuel Guy or an alternative. I think that would be the right way of saying that would be as an alternative rather than as a potential backup. Backup makes it sound to me like we're going to buy both. I wouldn't see that happening. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Jonathan Hanley says Ineos just copying AC Milan this summer. Lol. Flex G says you guy is better. Kez Levin says I watch Fofana and Højlund. Dan Fenton says Ugarte 100%. Fair enough. Let's talk about Bruno Fernandes, one of my favourite players. Fabrizio Romano says, understand Paris Saint-Germain are currently not working on a Bruno Fernandes deal. Good. Because I wouldn't sell him for any price whatsoever, and you can quote me. PSG full focus is on João Neves. If Bruno stays Manchester United this summer, also new contract talks could be following step. Yeah, get him a new deal, keep him. He's our best signing post Alex Ferguson. One of the few success stories post Alex Ferguson as well. An absolutely phenomenal player. His numbers speak for themselves. His performances speak for themselves. He stepped up when it mattered in the FA Cup final as well. He's the skipper. He's mint. I love him. Don't sell him. End of. Let's talk about Matthijs de Ligt. Christian Falk, another one who's been on the channel, says Manchester United offer €35 million for Matthijs de Ligt, who's 24 years old. FC Bayern has rejected the offer. This is when is this from? This is from yesterday. It says FC United are not buying Matthijs de Ligt. FC Bayern Munich demand 50 million plus add-ons. Bayern have to sell back players to buy new players. We know how that feels. Negotiations between the clubs continue. I feel like this will happen. I feel like the clubs aren't that far away. If they want €50 million and we've offered €35 million, that is close enough to make you feel like there could be a common ground there or a middle ground that satisfies everyone. If we'd offered 20 million and they wanted 80 or whatever, you think you're nowhere near each other. That ain't going to happen. But if you can get sort of closer to 40, maybe there's a deal to be made there. V33 says, please stay away from Mazraoui. He is sure 2.0. I mean, when he says sure 2.0, do you mean he's injury prone? Do you mean he's inconsistent? What's the sure 2.0? Looking at his appearance record, the last couple of seasons, he's not played a lot of games. Let's have a look at his injury record as well, because sometimes just because he's not played a lot of games doesn't mean he's not, he's injury prone. He might not have been getting picked. Let's have a look. Injury history. Just having a look here. I don't think he's that injury prone. He's had a few injuries. Doesn't seem to be that bad, to be honest with you. I'm just having a look. There's a few, it's not great. Actually, looking into it, last season he missed 28 days with a torn muscle fibre, then another 10 days with fitness, then another 47 days with torn muscle bundle. Then he was ill for a few days. He missed a game there. He had muscular problems, 8 days. That was all last season. So last season, I'm just doing the maths here, that was 1, 2, 10, 12. So he missed about 17 games last season. So a little bit of an issue there. Season before, though, yes, there was an inflammation. We've all been there. Which meant he missed 10 games. But that was it in terms of his club. He missed a couple of games for his country, for Morocco. But that's not too shabby. And then the season before that, he barely missed any. So I wouldn't say he's injury prone. I think he's had injuries, but it's not that drastic. We'll have to wait and see, though, what happens. There's still lots of ifs and buts and maybes. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Let us know what you think. Tamilis says, morning, Jay. Off to the stadium tour on Monday. Looking forward to it. Enjoy. Look at all them trophies. Look at all them lovely trophies. And just remember, they're going to be coming back to Old Trafford. New versions of those trophies are going to be coming back to Old Trafford very, very soon. Hopefully starting with the Charity Shield, even though that's not a proper trophy, but it'd be good to beat the Blues, wouldn't it? I'm going to leave it there. Thank you to everyone who got involved in the chat and the comments. Make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. We're going to be going on the tour very soon. We're going off to America. All of us, me, Joe, Steve, Maka, producer Ethan. We're all over there. So if you are over there, come and say hello. We'll be doing a couple of events where we can meet you guys. We'll also bring you loads of content from over there as well, as we always do on pre-season. Looking forward to that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because you don't want to miss out. I'm Jay Motty. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.